Okay, we're live. Yeah,
Oh, that was so
yeah,
easy.
I know. Gotta love it.
I'm such an uncle. I'm like, oh, technology. It happens.
Unk, come on. All right, so may I start, or do you want to tell me why we watched that?
Okay, so yes. Hi, hello. Thank you for indulging me. You are my gentle mom expert on staff.
Hi.
And I also love Shan Booty. I've followed her career the entire time. I'm super impressed by her ability to be as vulnerable and sex forward on YouTube for so long. Publicly, I've seen her go through a lot of things and also become a mother. And this is
Yeah.
and she's now talking about it openly, and I'm like, oh, I know a cool mom. So, and you are, teaching us how to redo parenting on the global scale. And so, of course, I want to know what you think about every single word.
I have so many things to say. First of all, I watched it at double the speed.
Okay.
So I'm more
Smart.
of a gister right now.
Gemini.
Um,
Yeah.
but let me start with I too love Shan Boodram.
Mhm.
Like, was watching her content back when Amber's Closet
Oh
was
my God.
relatively new.
Queer lore.
Like, I was all over like when all the groups of all the, the dollface gangsters were like doing their
Yeah.
thing, you know? So like I go way back with Shan too. Um I'm not at all surprised and I have some hot takes.
I know you do.
I want to start with I have nothing but respect and appreciation for this woman's career, for her
Yes.
contributions to sex positivity, pleasure positivity,
Hmm.
most importantly, as a fellow
Hmm.
pleasure advocate.
Hmm.
Um, and I've got to say, I think I might be the only person on the planet who believes that parenting is simple.
Yeah, you are. I can.
And I say that as a person who was homeless,
Mhm.
who did not have, and not like mid childhood or something, like before Julia was born, nowhere to
Mhm.
go.
Mhm.
When Julia was born, did not have an address to put on the hospital paperwork for discharge, right?
Mhm.
Like took her to a hotel type of situation. I say this as a domestic violence survivor during the first year of this child's life, having to relocate twice as a result of DV
Mhm.
in our relationship while she was developing, because it was the
Mhm.
first day that she was uh, it was the first day I found out she existed inside of me,
Mhm.
that I had the first instant. And then I had multiple instances after that, um, with one culminating in, being sent to the emergency department. So I'm not saying it's easy, but I do believe it is simple. And I do believe I have cornered the market on being able to say that because I've had a complicated existence.
Mhm.
But the one thing that has remained simple, um, and very achievable is spending time with my daughter, raising her. But it has, I think, everything to do with what I think about being a parent and rearing a child. Um, so let me start there. I think it's the weirdest position I could take. I think it is, detached from a lot of people's idea of reality. It's visionary. Um, but I believe in it wholeheartedly. And I do believe that every single, especially mother, but primary caregiver, should have access to this experiential knowledge. Because it'll change you. I believe it'll really change you. So it will
Mhm.
be joining me. I must be sweet because it's a honeybee. Um, but yeah, no, I truly believe in the the capacity that we have to kind of manage a lot without
Mhm.
losing ourselves. And I thought it was
Mhm.
interesting because she framed things in terms of surrender a lot.
Mhm.
So I'm raring to go.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I wonder what your experience watching this was, because you found it, you wanted to kind of share it. What was your experience with it?
Um, Honestly, I was just learning from her. I
Yeah.
don't, in the midst of it, I was like, I have no idea what it's like to be a mother. And I know I've been able to witness parts of your experience, and then there's a very different experience being told to me. So I was wondering um, what you saw that was similar, that resonated with you, and didn't.
Yeah.
My experience was just like, here's a different black mom. I love a black mom. What resonates and what doesn't?
Well, she never acknowledged it, but I wish she did, which was the presence of a man. Um,
Oh,
because
okay.
we are not the same for so many reasons, but one is that while she has two children, there are she's in a dual parent household. Um, and so that shades the experience of motherhood. I know because again, I had Julia's father around and I've not had him around. Um, and so I'm not saying that it's necessarily a good thing that he was there. I'm actually arguing that it made it harder for her to have to deal with learning how to be a mom while teaching a man how to be a father. It's not easy. And that, again, I'm full of hot takes. Um, but I do think that there's like this default role that like primary caregivers have, which is to teach their partner how to be a good parent, to set expectations, to do the additional emotional labor, to be the processing parent, not just the carer, but also the thinker, the preparer. Um, and you can see the effect of that on her because she keeps referring to like not having the time to go and be free. And I'm like, but injecting moments of freedom throughout your day to make that a part of your daily practice so that you don't lose that is key. Right. And so, like, it's not carnival every day. Right. And I think like the photo she referenced or the video she referenced was like a carnival celebration. Right. But it's not carnival every day. And everything doesn't have to be high stimulation. It gets back to a book that I was just reading called The Fun Habit. I can't believe I'm referring to this book already. Um, but I just read this book called The Fun Habit, and it talks about how there's like high stimulation fun and there's low stimulation fun. So, worst case scenario, an extroverted person might need to get used to the concept of merging and having an um, uh, let's see,
Ambivert
kind of
fun.
a yes, ambivert fun. There we go. I was like, the word is like in my mouth. Why can't I say it? But like ambivert fun. So like it's high stimulation sometimes, it's low stimulation other times, that you embed lead time into high stimulation moments so that your child isn't overwhelmed and have backup plans for those. But again, that's a lot of thinking, but it's, as she said, to set the stage and to curate, right? And you don't always get that that's what you're going to need or do the research and know, okay, I'm definitely going to need this, unless you have that mindset before you make the plan to go to the movie where the kids are going to have a sing-along concert experience. um and you don't know what you don't know until you see their personalities in that moment, and then it's about adapting and adjusting and recognizing what their needs might be. But that's no different than being on a date, which I think is interesting, that she used the word libidinous about her children, but didn't see that she was taking her kids on a date without knowing what they liked. And so
I didn't think about that.
I feel like for Shan, she's like on the cusp, just sitting on the tip of success. She is riding so close
How are you defining
to,
success?
well, to define success for me, for her, I'm just saying, like, she doesn't have to sacrifice anything, she just doesn't know it.
I
She
see.
sees everything through a frame of sacrifice because she recognizes the sacrifices that other people made, and she associates that with the successful development of those children, without recognizing that, a, being articulate does not mean that the child is like happy.
Mm.
And I'm not saying that children are
Mhm.
not happy,
Mhm.
but I'm saying the
Mhm.
external markers that people use to identify the happiness of children are not necessarily the things that
Yeah.
dictate the happiness of those children. And so it's a good idea to just say like, these are well-rounded children who also are social, developmentally where they should be for their particular age group and developmental stage, and that's wonderful, right? But we don't have to associate that with the sacrifices of parents. Children will do that as
Mm.
long as you don't stamp on their like identity,
Mhm.
right? So there are things that we might be giving up that we don't need to give up to have the exact same outcome. There is, I think, a limit to what parents can add that's going to make children have that outcome. And there is a
Mhm.
ton of things that we can do that we can subtract and they will still have that outcome.
I hear
So
you.
it's about recognizing, okay, if I want to have the space to feel happy and have the space to feel extroverted, if I want to have the space to live in my body while my
Mhm.
children live in their body, one, they won't do it if they
Mhm.
don't see you do it. So she is doing it.
Mhm.
She might not see it, but
Mhm.
children don't do what they don't see. So I think she's
Mhm.
doing more than she thinks she is, but she's recognizing that she's, not going to these big ticket events maybe as often as she's used to. But I
Mhm.
would argue that would happen at some point just because of like a lack of opportunity to go because maybe there aren't as many events. Like it's seasonal, right?
Mhm.
um and so there's ebbs and flows in in those seasons, and if she can just integrate that part of herself into her motherhood, it would take it through the roof for her because she would be
Mhm.
enjoying herself much more. I
Mhm.
think she made a commitment to being accepting of a loss and a grieving of a version of herself that she used to be. And I think we all have to do that because transformation requires that parts of us die, no matter what we're doing. I think
Mhm.
it's BS that people blame parenthood
Mhm.
because you can change a lot and not be becoming a parent. You could just be changing a lot because you got your first full-time job.
Mhm.
You're gonna say that you're giving up everything and you're
Mhm.
sacrificing for this full-time job? No. Like, or maybe you do. And if you do, that's just as sad as when we say it for children, in my opinion. And actually, it's probably a really good example. It's like Shan felt like she got trapped into a 9 to 5 that required regimentation and timing and clocking of, oh, go away. Sorry. Clocking of the tablets, and I can't think of all the examples,
Mhm.
but it's like that's one way to do it. It's an
Mhm.
option. If you want to monitor screen time, you can also just not use screens.
Mhm.
If you want to do it if you want to do it all the time, so you have to time it out, that's a different story, I guess. But also, I don't know. I feel like the regimentation on that level is not necessarily helpful, because it's not necessarily that the tablet is bad, but what the
Mhm.
child is using the tablet for. If it's a mind melting game, that's one thing. If it's that they're getting an opportunity to learn about something that feels hands on due to the use of the tablet, that's a
Mhm.
learning tool. We shouldn't be afraid of a learning tool just because it's a screen.
Mhm.
Um, so anyway,
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like there's so much loss and grief in her messaging from that video,
Mhm.
and a lot of dumping onto other parents what has to happen, um,
Mhm.
that wholeheartedly I do not believe is even remotely true. Why do I know that? Sorry, I could keep going.
You could.
Okay, do you want me to
Okay.
stop?
I'll interrupt you when I'm ready.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So I'm gonna use my breastfeeding example because
Okay.
I feel like it's the best example I have in life, for everything.
Mhm.
um, I did not have to give up anything but my commitment to winning or to figuring it out when it came to teaching myself how to breastfeed my daughter and allowing her the space to learn. I had maternity leave, yes. So I used it. Um, but I didn't have to give anything up for that, right? But there are people who are like, well, I tried so hard and I couldn't figure it out after like 6 weeks. It took me 6 months.
Mm.
And it could have been 8 and it could have been 12 and it could have been that my boobs dried up and that was it. The end. Right. And that all would have been okay. The thing that I quote unquote gave up was the expectation that it should work. That's the only thing I gave up. And I think when it comes to parenting, people limit themselves because they think, oh, well, this is the model for how this works. And instead of doing that, you could give yourself the model for how you work as a parent. And you can be developing that schematic based on the things that work for you around you, the things that mirror your spirit, the things that give your soul a little bit of a fire, right? You can you have to be libidinous all the time. If you die as a parent, your child is learning how to be a tiny robot
Mm.
and look really good to colleges. And
Mm.
that will work until they
Mm.
try to find their passion
Mhm.
and they go, wow, I didn't even know you were passionate about things, mama,
Mm.
when they're 18. And what good is that
Uh,
to them?
yeah.
So I think that, and there's no world in which Julia doesn't know that I have a rich passion for the
Mhm.
world around me.
Mhm.
So it's like, can we give our children the fullest version of ourselves, even if we are only doing it in small spurts that we can manage, right? Because the biggest limiting factor is, can you remain conscious after you did the thing you did? Because I get tired,
Mhm.
right? I get emotionally exhausted because I'm more of an introverted ambivert.
Mhm.
I can do it both. I can do both, but I'm more introverted. So I can do the activities, but I don't really like it. So that's not what, like, high stimulation fun isn't always what does it for me. But I try to give her a little high stimulation fun because she seems to like it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I don't know, I just see it as like building a healthy, happy relationship with my child, right? That takes into account the way that she experiences the world, not the way I do. And one more thing.
Mhm.
Well, let me finish that thing. So
Yeah.
takes into account the things that she needs to experience the world and the things that she experiences the world through, like her lens. Um, no matter how old she is, whether she's a little baby or whether she's hello or whether she's, a toddler, which she is now. Um, Seeing the world through her eyes and curating her experience, recognizing, oh, she's tired. I'm gonna let her nap. We're outside. Guess I'm gonna lay it out on the grass. We're good.
Mhm.
But like being chill about what that will look like is what makes it not feel like death. But if I had a plan and I was like, well, she needs to take a nap and she'll just lay down in the car because I need her to lay out flat, and I'm so blinded by the regimen that
Mhm.
I lose track of the fact that there's fields around me, then
Mhm.
I'm missing out on a more alive version of this moment. So I think we owe our children that alive moment. The last thing I will say in this rant is she said, one of these days, these kids are going to grow up. They're going to be their own little Shan Budrums. No, they won't. And that's how I know she didn't give up expectations. And that's how I know that she did not give up a plan. She gives I'm a free spirit as her persona, but that woman is regimented. That woman has a plan. That woman has expectations, and that works for her. Works for her.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it does not work for parenting. And to
Mhm.
have a lack of flexibility and try to parent is to promise yourself you're going to feel like you're dying every single day, which
Mhm.
is why she does feel like a little bit of her died. That is my unblessed opinion,
Mhm.
and I'm sticking with it. Um, and I say this as somebody who, you know, has a plan and likes to do things a certain way. But
Mhm.
being a parent also means recognizing that I'm in a relationship with this child. And I don't, I, again, I think I may be the only person
Mhm.
who sees it that way. But but yeah, I'm in a relationship with my child. I am not her parent per se. That's not the job. It's a
Mm.
relationship. And
Mm.
it's not a duty, it's a desire.
Mhm.
All right, that's my rant.
Mhm. 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 Okay. Um. So, as the Spinning Mama and also Gentle Mom blog, and you're building a brand that I know of that's brilliant. um, what do you wish for Shan as she continues beyond this video with her children?
Uh, I think she's a very strong person. So
Mhm.
the likelihood that anything will necessarily change will only be
Mhm.
based on her and
Okay.
what speaks to her. But I hope a version of this message speaks to her,
Mm.
because there's nothing I hate more than watching a advocate say,
Mhm.
well, but there's a limit.
Mm.
Um, if
Yeah.
she limited herself, she wouldn't be married to the person she's married to. She said that, not me.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right? He wasn't the one that she thought was going to be the one,
Mhm.
but the flexibility that she had to experience him allowed her to see that that could be her man.
Mhm.
Um, and that mattered with how their relationship developed. And I would love to see her see that the creativity that she uses in her platform, the creativity that she uses in her worlds as a creator, like as a content creator,
Mhm.
could feed her parenting. It
Mhm.
could be a part of it in a really beautiful way instead of being regimented and compartmentalized.
I hear you. Okay.
But some people
Okay.
need the structure.
Yeah. Dope. You've taught me a lot. Thank you
So
for
again, maybe
exposing
it's just not for her. And I
me.
I would put money on it that um that flow would make her feel better, but I don't think she'll do it.
Mm.
I think she's given a certain message to herself,
Okay.
and I think she's sticking with it. And good for her,
Good
because
for
if it
her.
works, it works, but
It
it
works.
could
Yeah.
not be me.
Yeah. I'll be watching. I'll let you know.
I love that.
I'm a fan of
Maybe,
both of
maybe,
you.
you know what I'll say? My real wish for her is that we
Mm.
meet. I would
I
love
would
to
love,
talk to
yo,
her.
I would host dinner for both of you at this point.
I
I
would
would
love to
host.
meet her and just talk about it.
Yeah, that would be dope. That would be dope.
Because it's not a matter of shaming and saying, well, I could do this and I had no resources. You're rich.
Mm.
What's your problem? It's more like, oh, no matter how rich you are in resources, it doesn't mean that you have a wealth of experiential knowledge. I have a
Mhm.
wealth of experiential knowledge that I would like to share with you, because you have a rich and vast resource pool to pull from.
Mhm.
Um, because some of these things they're not automatic. They're not like, um, what's the right word? They're not necessarily obvious.
Mm.
They're not intuitive. If
Mhm.
you if you are if you are somebody who's still fighting patterns of expectations that we receive from our parents,
Mhm.
or like when she said, oh, well, my dad said that my sister disappeared into her parenting and he was worried about that, and then she actually found some beauty in that. It's like,
Mhm.
good. Those are
Yeah.
the things that we want to challenge and question.
Mhm.
But imagine just challenging and questioning the idea that you could lose your identity in your children. You
Mm.
can, sure, but it's
Mhm.
only if you give up who you are, which she
Mhm.
doesn't really want to do, except for that she said, but sometimes I will.
Mm.
That sounds like cognitive dissonance.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and I just hope that she can integrate
Mhm.
those multiple ways of thinking and being, very DBT style, and
Mhm.
find the wisdom in them for her, because
Mhm.
they're both valuable, and they
Mhm.
can happen at the same time, and you can hold them at the same time. The truths are not incompatible. And
Mhm.
I wish that I had really, really gotten to experience that with the some of the partnerships that I've
Mhm.
experienced
Yeah.
after becoming a mother.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because it could have changed a lot.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
but it's why I commit to doing it alone.
All right, Sonia, thank you for this. What's next for the Spinning Mama? What are you working
What am I working on? I'm gonna be live every single weekday as per the
on?
norm.
Hmm.
So you can catch me Monday through Friday, right around noontime Eastern, if you want to hang out. Thank you for like hosting this, or I guess I'm theoretically hosting, but you're like spiritually hosting this conversation.
What I do.
Yes. Which I so deeply appreciate because I'm just getting so much richness out of the thinking process. And I hope it won't be our last conversation.
It won't. It won't be. It won't be. All
Yeah.
right. Shout out to all the Black moms.
Hey, we gonna throw in single in there too because it's
Yes.
it's
Thank
it's
you.
hard out here for
Single
people are
moms.
out here just being like single moms. Ugh. And
Uh,
I don't know what that is, but let's stop that.
that's a lot. A lot of misogyny
LOL.
in
Oh
there.
well. My goodness.
uh,
Yeah. And it looked like some people came through, even though we weren't on the vertical live stream. So that's kind of shocking and awesome. So yeah. We
love
we
it.
had some visibility, like 3 or 4 people.
Yes. Wonderful.
Yay.
Uh, I was trying my hardest not to smoke during this.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I can
I will
end our
not.
stream. Yeah, I'm gonna end our stream and then we can catch up.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Oh wait, but don't leave.
Don't leave.
Yes,
Oh,
because I have to, yeah. It's a
got
whole
it.
thing.
Wonderful.